Hello. I'm trying to get everything on the settings worked out here. I might have gotten it fixed, but a winter series, RSR at IRP, aka Lucas Oil, Indianapolis Raceway Park, Lucas Oil Raceway, whatever you want to call it. I call it RIP because rest in peace to me possibly in this race, because it's going to be slick, it's going to be slippery, it's going to be dangerous. So looking forward to hopefully staying in there the entire time. As usual, we're going to have Evan Pasacco, Jonathan Burke on the broadcast as well. So I'm going to send us to the main portion. Here we go. And I'm going to add us back into TeamSpeak.
Channel switched.
Bonjour
Wait,
again.
hold on. This place has a boating area? What the hell?
Jonathan Burke for you.
Oh no, this is the Missouri one.
I had another display plugged in, and I think it was giving me a lot of issues.
I was like, I don't think there's water near here. I guess there's a lake. I'm looking at Google Maps now. There's a lake with an airport.
What did I walk
across
myself
the
into?
street.
It's
But
Lucas
there's a
Oil
drag strip.
Speedway that has the dirt track
Hey,
and
you can't
the
knock it unless you
lake.
try it.
Okay, it's much better.
Yeah, this is just oval.
Yeah, this is
Drag
Lucas Oil
strip.
Raceway. We should have just the oval and a drag strip.
Come on,
Yeah,
Trevor,
that's
we
all
know
I'm
you
seeing
had.
on. I'm just trolling around on Google Maps, looking at all the
Hey,
farm
hey,
fields.
Don't give away what me and Evan do in the bedroom, alright?
You ever driven through those? There's nothing much to see.
I have been to IMS, but I have not been to Lucas Oil Raceway.
I believe I fixed my issues. Is my livery showing, guys?
I gotta find you.
I have no idea.
Yes, it is there. I see it.
Is it incredible?
Updated. It is the updated livery too.
We love to hear that.
The one that has my face.
Yep.
Got one outside. Stay low. You're clear high.
I told you.
All clear, all clear.
Hugo sounds so enthusiastic.
Hugo's gonna be like, trading paints isn't working tonight.
I guess
Damn.
with no answer to yes anyway.
We're gonna show the 79 car as least
Evan's
amount as
excited.
possible.
Hey.
Well, and he needs to come down here if he knows how to play the good old cornhole.
I mean, oh yeah, Lucas Oil is kind of,
He locked
it's
it
weird.
down.
Like it's about, it's not too far
clear
from
low.
IMS, but it's like
That's
off
the
the
redneck
interstate. It is near the farms.
I was
Outside.
in the corner cheering him on, but yeah,
There.
he
One
got
wide. 3 wide, you're in the middle. Clear. 2 wide. Clear low, clear low. Got one outside.
As many
Three
people
wide, you're
point
in the
out,
middle.
there is no such thing as civilization in
Hold your
Indiana
line.
besides
Clear low, clear
Indianapolis.
low. 2 wide there. Still there.
Oops.
Still there.
Sorry.
Stay low, there's a car on the high side.
Dylan, did you see the NAS sarcasm
You're clear high.
I just
picture
throw a Daniel
of they're
cornhole.
proposing having a bunch of outdoor basketball
Whoa.
courts
No.
at Indianapolis Raceway, which would be fun.
Alright, well then.
That'd be cool.
It's just one problem. It's in March, and the weather in Indiana is 50-50. It's either negative 10 or it's going to be disgusting and like 50 degrees and raining. There's no in between.
I don't see a problem there.
You can't play basketball in the rain.
Have we tried though?
I'll leave that up to you.
Low car down low.
I believe it's frowned upon. So they also play on like wood floors. It can damage the wood. It's
Just
expensive
play
these
street
days.
ball with like that sticky stuff that they put on the outdoor courts, and you'll be fine.
No.
They're kind of egghead.
Is that NBA or NCAA approved?
No.
It can be.
Oh, my bad, 30. Didn't mean to tap you.
Alright, got big problems with the motor.
I'm literally less than 2/10 off the top.
Automatic EOL for Eric.
I have no idea what's happening in voice chat.
It's going crazy.
You can,
Alright, 30
what would
seconds.
they call that?
Oh my God. Eric just asked, "How's your
We don't have
sister,
dicks down here, we
Steve?"
have redneck.
Oh no,
What's that mean?
I don't even want to
Hey,
know.
at least I'm not like Daniel actually marrying my sister.
Oh god.
What is happening?
This is really taking a turn.
I love this. We should get this on the broadcast, guys.
I think that's more Alabama.
Slow car down low.
All right, silence, please.
Car stop down low. Go high. Go high.
Can you guys imagine if I ever get on the podium for an interview?
Got a car stopped ahead.
Oh God, Tim Donald's on top of my head.
It doesn't want to stop. What the heck? I always have positive in all the tests.
Live tonight from the virtual Lucas Oil Raceway at Indianapolis, we say good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to RaceBot TV's continuing coverage of the 2021 Real Sim Racing IRAPS Winter Series. We're happy to have you with us on Monday night, as always, and a Happy New Year as we welcome you to round 7 of 10 on this Winter Series campaign.
I might have a chance here.
So good, joined by Jonathan Burke. We've got Dylan Coyle downstairs with our producer Hugo Luis, and this is a first for this Winter Series. Never before have we gone racing here at the short track here at Lucas Oil Raceway, and there's been a lot of discussion, Jonathan, pre-race amongst us, amongst the drivers. It's either going to be a really good race.
I'm going to wait until the music
Either way,
stops.
certainly in for an entertaining one as we get to the fourth to last race of the season.
We don't even have real life to go off of, really, because the last time the Xfinity Series or even the Truck Series was here was 2011, so it's a really big unknown that we're heading into. It is exciting for us, but is probably worrisome for the drivers because they really don't know how this is going to run during race conditions. We talked about before that we got on here, different lines, the low and the high line. Everyone's going to be up towards the high line. How are they going to pass? And we also talked about the field size. Get around the room quick. It's not a big track.
It is a lot of cars packing it in as we kick off the 2021 side of the calendar. Let's talk about the points, though, and what our championship picture is like coming into this race. Matt Danson, his championship lead over Andrew Friedage grows by 1. So it is now a 5-point difference, first to second in the championship. But it was Daniel Eberhardt winning not only last week in New Hampshire, but the last 2 rounds, back-to-back race wins. But in Iowa and New Hampshire, that has him up to 4th in the championship standings. But we keep saying there has to be
Waiting.
moment, we believe, Jonathan, for the likes of Lariah, Eberhardt, Cato, and company to take that next step. If Danson and Friedage have a bad week, they can go toe-to-toe, but it was the slow start for those drivers, third of the points on down, that continues to hinder them. Tonight, though, could be a wild card race on the bowling here at Lucas Oil. We're going to go race it at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course just down the street next Monday night. And then that big highlighted one of Talladega Speedway on the 18th for the second last race of the year. It'll give us a real good idea of what this championship looked like.
There we go.
Headed into the 25th.
All right. Starting my lap.
Yeah, and I think the problem is for a lot of those guys that are below 3rd is that really Friedage and Danson have never finished outside of like where they've started. Like they've always finished around the top 10 or so. They're never down in the order or having issues. And I think, you know, tonight is one of those races where that could happen, but we'll have to wait and see.
Oh my God.
Let's talk specifics about Lucas Oil Raceway. You can see the stats up on your screen now. This racetrack clocking in at just under 7/10 of a mile.
Got 2 minutes. Gotta make these laps.
Or 4-turn oval, I should say.
I can get a time like that.
12 degrees of bank, it is the official number. I know we just left New Hampshire Motor Speedway, which really felt flat as well, but the progressive banking from 2 to 7 degrees, but not often does this 12 degrees feel like it. You talked about these drivers being all the way up against the wall. They're going to be all the way up against it, which could present an interesting challenge right now in qualifying. Drivers, as always, a 5-minute closed queue session, 2 laps to get your best one onto the board. Any bit of contact would disallow a lap time, so it'd be interesting to see what drivers maybe play it safe here in queue to make sure they get a lap in, and if any of your fast drivers up at the front of the field maybe get an incident point, touch the wall in queue, don't get a spot and have to go through the field, because you talked about the grid. A little bit of a smaller field last week in New Hampshire allowed that race to go green. We're looking at 30 cars at a racetrack that's less than 3/4 of a mile in length, so it is going to be real crowded out there.
Yeah, we talked about also, like, there's the main line seems to be that high line where people were running in practice, as we see Sam Nieto getting a little personal and close with the wall. how is one going to pass and make their way through the field? This qualifying, I think, is really, really crucial for everyone for good track
Bad.
position. I don't think you really want to be stuck in that middle of the field for
Wow.
There's the checkered flag.
You can see Matt Danson, of course, the championship leader. Talked about Daniel Eberhard.
Oh, man.
Back-to-back, winning the last two.
I suck under
had
pressure.
his own back-to-back streak just before that, winning rounds 3 and 4 at Michigan and Montreal. He's kept Faridaj at a victory lane since the end of November with his one and only race win this year
What
in
did I do there?
Richmond. There's John Ellenberg right now, good enough for P6 on the board. There's a lot of drivers that are really looking like they're going to have a good showing here tonight. Curious to see if maybe some guys can sneak away with some season bests if it either stays clean or goes chaotic. I guess either way.
And I think for a lot of guys that aren't really concerned about the points as well, this is a welcome sign of, all right, let's just try and finish this season strong here.
Well, the qualifying session has drawn to a close, so let's go trackside and take a look at your IRAP's starting grid.
Good luck, everybody.
Daniel Eberhard looking for a third win in a row will bring us to the green flag tonight with a 22.510. Sam Nieto joins him on the front row. Your championship points leader, Matt Danson, will roll from third alongside the number 4th placed car of Kyle Kamer. Andrew Faridaj inside of row 3. He'll start from 5th. John Ellenberg alongside in the number 6 spot with Braxton DeWeese and Nick Ibarra on row number 4. Behind them, it'll be Michael Laraya in 9th and Joseph Tice, your top 10.
Maurice Lashinsky in the 03, in P11, Jeremy Miller in P12. They'll be looking to make up some spots. Bobby Krug in 13, Kyle Trudell in P14. He's actually one of the most consistent finishers so far this season. Look for him late in the race. Dominic Howe in P15, Aaron Weinmanster in P16.
You guys need to play nicely.
James Ross in the 14 lines up 17th. Nick Silver lines up 18th. Brian Chambliss lines up 19th. And Garrett Hess in the 00 round out your top 20.
Run? Okay.
And continuing on through, Dylan Coyle will start 21st with Tom Moreno 22nd, Matt Mara and Gary Weaver on number 12, and Michael Kaczynski and Trevin Valderrama through P26, and then 27th of Sean Kalis, being the last driver to take a time in queue. Provisionals, Eric Stanford 28th, Ross Cato 29th, and Steve Durham in position number 30. That's a look top to bottom at your IRAP's starting grid, and there's a look in with all the onboard cameras amongst the drivers that we'll be checking in with over the course of this race. Of course, our in-race reporter Dylan Coyle ready to go. Bobby Krug, Matt Mara, Gary Weaver, Ross Cato, Steve Durham, Kyle Kamer, and more. And Dylan, I'll give you a chance to get a shout in here before we get going. What are we expecting in this one?
We're going to see. Oh, look at this. We can't go too wide here. We are going to see some awful attempts at passes. We're going to see a lot of contact with not only the wall, but with other drivers when you're trying to get by. It's not going to be a clean race. We've seen a lot of green flag racing lately. This is not going to be one of those races. I will eat my crow if it does. You're going to see a lot of laps from drivers be messed up because of their proximity to the wall or their entry. It's kind of like a diamond that you have to take here. I messed up my qualifying laps. I was 4/10 slower than what I was in practice, and I'm hoping to get up quickly here. However, I'm not going to take any unnecessary risks, so that's what I'm looking forward to in this Hugo Louise race spot car.
Yeah, I was about to say before Chad asks, yes, that is our producer, Hugo Luis, on the hood of your car. Reed Wow, though, up at the front of the field. The pace car is down and in. Field going to be in the hands of Daniel Eberhard as he looks for a third straight win on Monday night. Happy to have you with us on Race Spot TV. Let's go racing at Lucas Oil.
Outside.
That was scary.
Hold your line. Stay low. 3 wide, you're in the middle. You're clear high.
You can see Nieto pull up it over to Anson. He'll maintain second. It's still Eberhard for the race lead. He'll lead lap number 1 of 150.
You got one inside. Stay high.
You can already see right now that high line's the much better line, and Danson's trying to find a way up there.
We got a spinner. We got a spinner.
Caution is out. out.
And
Line
an
up, single
early
file.
yellow
Doors
towards
closed.
the back of this
Past
one.
the
There's a
30,
handful of
past
cars
the
checked
low
up. I
car
think it may have been
car
a Krug
car
that's
five.
backwards.
Position with the yellow
That is
flag.
him way at the back. That 51 Toyota is the one that went around, and I'm curious if it was just him or if there was a lot more. Let's take a second look with the RaceBot TV
One in the
replay.
middle.
This is coming at a turn
Sorry if I got
before
into you, Tom,
the
right
end
there.
of
Was just
lap
trying to
number
check up.
one, going back down into the corner, side by side with the 27. And was there a touch from behind with the 86 of Dominic Howe? It looked like he may have gotten into the 51 and loosened him up and off into the corner. Either that or with just the lack of banking here and no grip, that maybe Krug just got loose. Let's see from above.
Terrifying. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of room on the outside, and it looks like he just sends it in a little too deep, and thankfully not a lot of others caught it, although Winemaster's going to have a lot of damage, and Shameless as well for a good measure. Those two are going to have lengthy repairs to set them back, but thankfully not many others involved.
I got involved only because of the stack up. I actually had to get, I didn't have to, but I got into the rear of Tom Morano. And I think I don't have that much front and right side damage. I think I'll be fine. But it was a very hectic first few laps, at least from my point of view. My God, locked up the brakes a few times because of some I don't want to say suspect driving because everybody's just trying to get into a good position, but some hairy driving, I must add.
And Krug is going to claim responsibility for that incident, so he'll get the end of the longest line of penalty. You're at Winemaster down there as well, trying to get the car fixed. Pace laps here, though, at Lucas Oil, only 40-some-odd seconds, 48 seconds or so, so you don't have a lot of time if you do damage the car to get that thing fixed up. By the time you get to the stall, you get maybe 10, 12 seconds or so of actual time in the stall to get damage fixed.
Hi,
if
Gary.
you don't want to lose a lap, Krug has lost a lap. So he will fall back to 30th in the running order. And I suppose now is as good of a time as any as we're under the yellow flag. I'll take an opportunity to do some plugging and encourage everybody at home to go to realsimracing.club online. For a limited time only, there's a new collection of Real Sim Racing merchandise that you can purchase. Hats, sweatshirts, t-shirts, everything in between. That is all thanks to our friends at Boosted, the place where gamers and creators go to monetize digitally. They were the title partners of our 2020 Cup Series. And we are happy to have them helping us out with our online stores. So you can access it again by going to realsimracing.club or go online to realsimracing.org. That's the league website. And look for the store tab in the top right corner of the screen. Get yourself some, very good quality and good-looking swag, and it also helps support the series here on Monday nights. Pace car off and in. Let's try it again. Eberhard in control once more. He wants the inside, but he starts it when he wants to.
Green flag, green flag. He's hustling, man.
Basically took to the green flag in the center of the corner. He is long gone.
Caution.
Spin from behind. It is way in the back, and it's Winemaster for a second time.
That might be too much damage on that 48. Now he's trying to catch it. Well, he's already caught back up. I'm wondering if he just got underneath the power and just went out on him.
I think we're just swagging right now.
And I wonder if any of the damage had something to do with that, or if that's just trying to fire off in the middle of the turn.
That was a weird restart because I believe you said Eberhardt was in the lead. He was from the inside. That line got going right away. The outside did not get going at all. Quite honestly, the outside line was squeezed right up against the wall, so no room for any wheel spin. And from that point on, it's just a matter of it getting backed up, and it's very slippery here on this track. It's probably the most slippery that we've been on so far this winter season. And obviously, with the preferred line being the high line, you're going to have a lot of guys on the inside who are in the lead, like Eberhardt, try to get that jump so they can jump back up to the outside. It's kind of the way you want to go, I guess, from their perspective. I mean, I wouldn't know. I'm not in the lead, but it's weird how New Hampshire's first groove is similar to Lucas Oil's, where it's completely flat compared to the rest of the relatively banked curves in turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I told you there was not going to be clean racing for the majority of it. We already have 2 cautions.
Most of them towards the back. I was just taking a look. This restart is going to stay double file. Just curious if we had instituted the single file procedures tonight, but it looks like we're going to be sending them 2 by 2 throughout this 150 lap contest. And at least up at the front of the field, not a lot of changing. Although Kyle Kamer, big winner on that last restart, there he is in his number 8 machine. Started this race 4th. He's already up to position number 2. But again, is going to be at a disadvantage by being forced to the outside of the front row. The pace car, like most short tracks here, Jonathan, diving in turn 3, basically gives Eberhardt that whole corner of 3 and 4 to dictate when he actually wants to start the race.
Yeah, and it's almost like a chess game he has to play with the rest of the field because he wants to get that jump and get into that outside line quickly. But then he doesn't want to go too early or leave that outside line vulnerable.
It's very wholesome tonight, guys.
Kind of determines how the rest of the field goes. And we've already seen, like, guys like Matt Danson on these restarts lose out big. Like, Danson was up there in the front row.
Yeah, Gary, I'm about to
bang
your car out of the way.
We've only had about a handful of green flag minutes even.
Wait, no.
The rows inside or out. So far, very critical in the opening bits of this IRAPS 150. Looking for the lights to go out on top of the pace car this next time by. Again,
it's been good.
The 4th to last
Tired.
race of the season.
How was yours?
Points leader Matt Danson has been passed, as you just mentioned, by Andrew Friedage. Friedage 4th and Danson in 5th on track at the moment. That is certainly a battle that we're going to be tracking not only tonight, but as the rest of this championship rolls on to see if Friedage can get a 3rd straight Winter Series championship, or if Danson, the rookie, can come in and play spoiler in that Horizon Racing team entry and get his first in RSR competition. We'll try it again. Pace car down and in with 12 laps behind us. Same rules apply. The 90 of Eberhardt on the bottom. Going to restart this race whenever he wants to. It is going to cause chaos for the driver's mid-pactor to fire off in the center of the very flat turns 3 and 4. Green flag flies back underway. It's a great jump for Eberhardt, but also a good jump for Kamer. He'll maintain 2nd for a moment. The fight's going to be between Nieto and Friedage. That's for 3rd and 4th.
Kamer's been the most opportunistic on these restarts, and right now he's showing that he's going to be a force to reckon with, I think, most of this race.
It's your onboard look with him. A lot of talking to the team over the radio as he tries to track down Eberhardt. Still door-to-door behind for 2nd or for 3rd and 4th. But it's Friedage up top getting squeezed by that 2 of Nieto, who I'll stand by may have the best paint scheme in this whole series. That kind of Christmas sweater-inspired Miller Lite Ford Mustang. But the top side, too good. Friedage through into a race-high P3. He now sets his sights on the battle for the lead. Kyle Kamer first on deck.
Yeah, Kamer's drifting down a little bit more in the corners than Friedage. Or Friedage is now looking to the inside, so he's maybe just trying to pick which line to go to. And right now, high line may be best, but if those could make the bottom work, you might be able to get a pass down there. As here comes Kamer.
Side by side for the race lead early at Lucas Oil Raceway. The passes we've seen further back in the field, though, have happened advantage to the car on the outside. So can Kamer make the bottom work, or is all is he going to accomplish here is maybe open up the outside for Friedage to get atop of him? The 8 still hangs strong, keeps the nose of the quarter panel on board on the right-hand side.
All right, this track is kind of fun.
Now he can't even jump up back there if he wants. Oh, no, he's tagged him.
Caution is out.
Eberhardt spins from the race lead. He gets tagged.
Wow.
Jeremy Miller crashes into him. And the race leader in the wall early.
Hi, Gary.
Here, just outside of Indianapolis. What went wrong in the battle for the race lead as we take a second
Oh,
look
no. Not at all.
at the contact
It was,
between Kamer
you and I were
Eberhardt.
synchronized.
I did not see that coming.
That's crazy. Wow. It was a mad dash from the back of the pack to get down low. That was crazy.
And the high shot there showed it, Jonathan. Here's another look. It doesn't even look like
Okay.
Kamer, way overdrove the corner or got
What you doing,
loose, but he
Kaczynski?
definitely just overcooked it a little bit and tagged him.
Oh,
Here's
that's what I
Dylan's
figured,
on
Barrett.
board, almost
Pretty good.
down to the grass to get
Give me a
on
heart
through.
attack
It
there.
was somewhat of a lazy spin for Eberhardt, but then Miller had nowhere to
just
go
wanna
and
make sure the
plowed
second
into him,
picture
and that's
was
going to be
out.
significant damage on both of those cars. Kyle Kamer will claim responsibility for the incident. He'll get it into the longest line penalty,
how
which will
terrifying
make
this is
Sam
in VR.
Nieto the race leader.
Like, it's one thing at any other track,
It's-
this car
Decided
track
to come down
combination
pit
for me
road
is
though, because Sam
so
has
scary.
significant damage. Andrew Freenage has been on pit road in an extended period of time. He's still there, as a matter of fact. Like, that may have just been a one-car spin, but a lot of people got involved.
It's weird to actually be, having to react to crashes that happen at the front of the pack. Usually, it's all gone by the time I get there.
Well, I questioned earlier, the fact that because this is a little bit of a different track, we've raced on short tracks like this, but haven't raced here, so not everybody has a ton of experience in these cars at this track, that maybe you could see somebody, get a surprise top 5, top 10 out of this one with or without the chaos, without being, they just figure it out faster than anybody else, right? The veterans don't have hundreds of laps to kind of fall back on. The alternative also being, of course, if the race gets a little bit crazy, and I think the first and second placed cars taking each other out before lap 20 falls into that category, that's how you can get an exciting or a first-time winner. Deweese up to second. It looks like Nieto is not going to come down to get any of the damage fixed as the lights go out on top of the race car. So that is a clean number 3 of Braxton Deweese on the outside of the front row, Jonathan. I think somebody that I'd keep an eye on here.
Oh, and for guys that are looking for points, this is big, because Freenage is now at the end of the field. You can get, like, if you're Michael Loraya and you get into the top 3, you can get second place in the points.
This
There
is
was heavy damage on the 88 from that incident after he was running behind where the contact happened. He was able to get through it, but not before he got touched by Nieto. He comes down pit road. Andrew Freenage just scored in 26th position. Green flag flies. We're back underway. It's Sam Nieto to the race lead, but here comes Danson looking on the bottom from 3rd.
Stay low, there's a car on the high side.
Oh, and he just got so tight. Danson went from fighting for the race lead to hanging on the 3rd, and on the outside, it's Deweese.
all clear.
He'll rocket to the race lead.
Nieto has significant damage on that car. He held up Danson in that corner, and I think he's going to held up a bunch of the field unless he gets clear. He can't really ride an alternate line. He has to run that racing line.
So how can he do with clean air up at the front of the field? It's Deweese 1, Nieto 2, Ellenberg 3. Leschinski gets around Danson for 4. There's an onboard look in traffic with Ross Cato, 21st on the racetrack at the moment. Came into tonight 5th in points, but there's a counterpart in the championship. Freenage and Cato into the fence that time. It just goes to show you how thin that margin is, especially on entry, that you need to be right up against the wall to get the proper corner entry, and if you overcook it, a little bit of a touch right there. I mean, look how far those cars pull on him when he gets into the wall.
He's having to also leave space for these guys that are charging hard on the bottom. Freenage has already gotten out of the top 20, or into the top 20. He's now up to 18th, and he's coming hard. And some of these other guys that have gotten involved, Chambliss as well, that have damage, are trying to get through the field. It's just rather difficult to do here. There's not really many places to go.
And now we'll see, can this race get a little bit of a flow to it? There's a lot of battling here. Middle of the pack, there's the 86 car, Dominic Howe on the outside. Fighting with Kyle Trudell.
Gary, that wall is not your friend.
8th position at the moment, and everybody from
Not
this
just my
point
throttle,
on
apparently.
up in the running order have started to spread out, but still looks like the outside the place to be. This spot will go to Howe, and now curious if Tice would want to go top or bottom as he tries to make moves in that Dr. Pepper Chevy.
A little bit of dark horse right now is that 32 of Nick Morrow. Has not really been up in this top 10 mix much of the season, and right now, like, qualified up there, and he's still contending. He's gonna, I think, get Trudell in the next corner unless the 7 can get around. Barely clear.
Still there.
Give him the spot, but now there's a hole in line for the 7.
All clear,
Nick
all clear.
Mara, the next challenger, looking for a bit of a bounce back in that Mara Motorsports
Clear low,
entry
clear
after both he and his brother have had a couple of races to forget. He was 8th in qualifying, sitting on the cusp right now of that top 10, running in the 10th spot. You can see all the single file, though, up the road for the moment. Deweese controlling this race, and if you can get some green flag laps in, that 150 number in the scoring pylon won't feel that big, but here comes Nieto to the outside.
All clear, all clear. Outside.
So I think it just needed to be a little bit of a driving adjustment from Nieto, and he's got Deweese all the way towards the grass. That's not going to be good for the car at all.
And it'll go to the 2 car. I know it's pretty difficult to try to pass somebody on the outside. Very difficult to kind of set that up and get your nose out there. But Nieto did a real good job. And at that point, Deweese was kind of caught out. We think the outside, the better place to be. And you can see it there as Nieto not only makes the pass, but he pulls immediately to a 5/10 of a second advantage. So maybe it was just Deweese with a better restart, making the move and holding him up. Let's see if Nieto wants to run away with that. But Deweese, I think, now needs to be more concerned about John Ellenberg in 3rd than he does need to be to getting back to the race later. Because look at that interval now, close to 7/10 of a second. Nieto is flying right now.
These are guys that are down in the points as well, Ellenberg and Lashinsky, that really don't have much to lose. So they're going to probably fight Braxton Deweese pretty hard here for the 2nd spot, especially as they see this 2 car just say goodbye.
You can see how close everybody else is behind Deweese here. You've got Ellenberg challenging, Lashinsky, Danson, Raya, Howe, and company. I mean, they are not getting much space between them, at least for the cars in the top 10. There's an on-board look, though, with Matt Mara, 2nd half of the Mara Motorsports duo. He's back in traffic right now, running in 16th. But that is up significantly from where he started this race in 23rd. Bobby Krug, who caused the opening yellow in this race, currently on his bottom, trying to get past him. You'll see that blue car right there and into the door at a turn number 4 nearly. Krug went a lap down after causing the incident. We had a lucky dog in the last yellow, and has now run himself back and into the top 15. So even with the damage, Bobby Krug on a mission.
And Kyle Trudell, too, he's taking him with him. The 8 car had the end of the longest line penalty and had to work through even the lap traffic that had to get repairs. And he's trying his best. It's just a lot of action in this midfield, but no one's really going anywhere. There's not that big dynamic move you can make. It's a slow, methodical, lap-by-lap thing you got to plan out, really get practice of.
Stay high.
And there's the on-board with Krug, and that's Dylan Coyle around on the outside up to P15. How's it going so far?
It's going well. It's just impossible to pass. Oh, Gary got high. Hold on.
Stay low. There's a car on the high side. All right, man. Caution.
And a caution as that battle goes side by side.
How am I?
Spin towards the rear.
I didn't get the position.
Alright, I was wrecked already.
And it's going to be there's the second half of that. Jeremy Miller got into the outside wall and then got hit by Widemaster as he was spinning. Miller claiming responsibility for the incident at lap 36.
So we've got 3 additional tires here. I think it's a good idea to go into the pits now.
But are people going to come with you?
My math hat would tell me that we are well shy of 1/3 distance.
Well, people in front of me are going. I'll take it.
Well, we saw the likes of Friedage come down pit road on the last yellow. They are back down this time, but they were down for damage plus tires, and they were able to make moves. So it's not impossible for guys to get through traffic. Braxton Deweese going to give up the number 6 position under yellow. He was actually 2nd, so he's going to be the highest running car to pit. Also in Friedage down pit road. Kyle Kamer, Daniel Everhart, Nick Mara, Tom Morano, James Ross, Nick Silver, Dylan Coyles down there. With Matt Mara, Gary Weaver, Trevor Valderrama and company. So that is the sprint of cars down to pit road. About a 50-50 split-ish. A lot of the drivers, again, hard to kind of pinpoint it because they're down for damage repairs.
Nice job, Kyle.
Of pit road is going to be, I believe, no, Garrett Hess is already off. The lead car off of the pit lane that time through is going to be Tom Morano, followed by Friedage. So Friedage up to 14th with fresh rubber. His night may not be done yet. Remember how doom and gloom we thought this whole season was going to be for him after he was off of the lead lap early in the season opener at Daytona, came back for a good finish. It has been Danson winning out these head-to-head battles as of late, but Freenage within 5 points. And now, Jonathan, with our 2 championship leaders on varying strategies, could make this very fun to follow.
Just on varying strategies, but not really much of factors right now. Like, Danson's in the top 5, but he's just kind of hanging around at the moment. I think just waiting out and trying to be really conservative with his driving. Like, he knows his track is really tough to pass and stuff, so, you know, rather let Ellenberg and Leshinsky go after Nieto than himself. But obviously, 88 has damage and is trying to recover from that incident involving the number 90 of Eberhardt. It's going to be interesting to see how well that 88 does drive. He's been down pit road now twice, at least once just for repairs. So we'll see what he can do from that 13th spot.
I can tell you one thing. He blew by the rest of the field in the back. I was fighting with him for about 2 laps. He's got that bottom line down pack.
Both Miller and Winemaster to the garage after this most recent caution flag. Race start due up with 110 laps to go for the Lucas Oil Raceway, and Nieto is gone from the lead. Green flag flying.
Inside.
I'm okay.
Say hi. There's a car on the
Oh, reckon, it's Durham.
bottom. Go high. All right, man.
A spin and a yellow. It is the 10-around Krug also involved towards the back of the pack. Steve Durham not happy with the radio after he drove it into the fence right here in turn 1, just way too deep, and then got touched by the third. Look at the 88.
I'll tell Evan up there.
Freenage sneak through the middle. Andrew says on the radio, by the way, we need an onboard look with that one. That is second in the championship. Watch how close this was for him.
We might want to change these C's to F's in the chat.
He's going to have to be down pit road for a change of pants. Like,
Yeah,
exactly.
Like,
For
I should
service,
change of
but not
pants.
for the
Like,
car.
almost saved it, and I got hit
Exactly. Yeah, and that's one where, you know, I've seen guys avoid wrecks where there's cars flipping and spinning, and you just happen to find an opening, right? If he had kept going straight, he's into the door. That's him driving it to low in the corner, seeing the car spin, get on the brakes, and it also turn up the hill ahead of more cars wrecking. So that was a great piece of driving by Andrew Freenage to stay in one piece and actually pick up spots to go to P9.
This race has been scary, I will say. I know I say that every single race, but this one, it just feels like bedlam out here. There's just no way to pass. I was with Gary Weaver for as long as possible on that one long green flag run. Tried everything. I couldn't get past him down the inside, at least with the tires that I had, and I've got 20 extra seconds of damage. I don't know if that's big enough, but it's I'm not exactly sure what the strategy can be. You know, I've picked up a few spots through some of these cautions and through the pit cycle, but I think for the most part, you cannot pick up a place. You cannot run side by side with someone with you on the inside for a long time, because your tires, not only your tires are going to get really bashed in, but if it goes a little bit longer on a stretch, you know, within 15 laps, you're down a second on lap times. It's not good to waste those tires. So you got to do everything you can to keep the tires fresh. That means not getting in dog fights with other drivers here, and just single file. I think it might be the main way to get around here. You know, a lot of guys have gotten into the wall. I've gotten into the wall a couple times. And, you know, just take advantage of opportunities where guys mess up. I think that's how you're going to make on-track passes here, as Daniel Eberhardt, he seems like at least a lap down. Not exactly sure, but we shall see.
He missed the pace car. The pace car beat him a lot. But no, to your point, like, the 88 was coming up through the field, and you mentioned it. However, he eventually got slowed up in about 13th and 12th, like, once that run started going.
Yeah, there's no strong way to make passes down the inside. Now, I will say the best place to start on a restart is the inside. It's because the jump is so massive. I mean, I'm starting on the inside. I might get the outside lane to be cleared up for me by the time we go on the restart. So we'll see.
When we talk about chaos, there's a look at your plus minuses. A lot of drivers right now running inside of the top 10 did not start inside of the top 10. They take advantage of either staying out of incidents or also with the varying pit strategy. We'll see how the cars on fresh tires play into this. They are led by Braxton Deweese in the number 13 spot. Green flag flies. We're back underway. And again, picture perfect on the restart is Sam Nieto. He'll hold 4 car lengths of an advantage into turn number 1 at a teammate battle between Ellenberg and Leschinski for second and third.
Stay high. Stay high.
The one rule, do not get into an incident with your teammates, so tread lightly as the outside wins out for this one. Ellenberg takes second, Leschinski will take third, but for how long? Here comes Danson. He'll look to the inside.
Where'd the 88 come from? He restarted 9th. He's already behind the 05.
Yeah, by the way, correction, Friedage is the leader on fresh tires. He was just so far ahead of the rest of the pack, I didn't see him up there. He is flying on the inside. He'll make the pass on Leschinski, and even on the bottom, the better tires will compensate for that less preferential line. That spot is his. Friedage at a race high P3. Oh, how the tables have turned, closing in on 1/3 distance.
Still there.
The problem is now, if Freenach keeps running that bottom, like how long does he have on those tires before they start giving out? I mentioned he kind of got stuck in P12 and P13 on that after that long green flag run. How much time does he have left before eventually these guys will track him back down?
Stay high.
All the way almost to the top of the board. Next up, your race leader, Sam Nieto. There's a bit of a gap there that Nieto was able to grow again. Of the cars on even tires, so take the anomaly and Friedage out, who's got fresh rubber. Of all those other drivers, I mean, Nieto's by far the fastest, right? We've seen other cars get to the race lead, pulled 2 or 3 tenths of a second, and that's about all they could get. When he made that pass a handful of laps ago, he checked out, and he did that on this restart again, but you can only make up so much for better tires, and I think Friedage give him a lap or 2, and he'll be on him. He's to the bumper already in turn 2.
As we look to the bottom of that, there's a wild card. There's a lap car not too far away. If these two stay 1 and 2, Ross Cato can play a factor down and off the road for damage. But there goes the 88. Just easy does it. Around the 2 car he goes.
First time tonight to the race lead is Andrew Friedage. He has lost a point here, a point there, that has allowed Danson to pull a 5-point advantage in the championship. But as they run now, Friedage would overtake him in the points if he could win this thing, and Danson stays stalled in position number 4. Again, just to kind of remind us, we look at this great mid-pack battle with everybody else. This is about 7th or 8th on back from Deweese and company, Leschinski and more. So 7th on back, you got James Ross in the mix. I haven't talked much about him tonight. You got Michael Araya, who's been pretty quiet. His number 44 is in this pack as well. But I just wanted to remind everybody that the points are heavily favored to the race winner. Every other spot in the field is separated by 1 point, except the difference between win and second. That is a 5-point difference that could make up the difference in the championship right there alone, as you saw Nick Barra use up James Ross there in a pass for P10.
Stay low.
But I mentioned points, but some of these guys, again, that are fighting right here really have nothing to lose. Nick Mara has been out a few rough weeks, and right now he's running top 10, really has nothing to lose. And he's been running really good, and the 03 has been slipping a little bit. He did restart in P4, but now there's this hungry pack of cars. This looks like a traffic jam on I-79 going into Indianapolis.
Ross and Barra in this group with fresh tires. So is Coyle. They're going to try to catch some of the slower ones, but a yellow from behind. And Steve Durham again is off and in the grass, and there's his reaction. On the left-hand side of your screen. He wasn't really happy that he got tagged a little bit earlier in this one. And
good battling, Lariah.
He's going to blame himself on that one if he can get a second look.
Clean race.
Pit road is now open.
I was just battling Michael Araya for position and beat him on that caution. Huh. This is a good race for me. Oh, they're all going down pit road? I'm not. Oh, boy.
I won't tell you that you had 40 lap fresher tires than him.
I'm gonna say that.
Are you kidding me?
I'll neglect to mention that for your sake.
Oh, Oh, is there another one?
I'm
Okay.
so proud to. I didn't want to do it.
You did it. I'm staying
Oh,
out.
also
I'm staying
fucking
out.
got
I'm not
freaking
sure if that's the
power
good
locked by you.
choice, but I've never run up here before.
What's the flip
Me?
side of the previous pit stop? So all those cars that we
Yeah, I
saw
felt like
pit
it got, like,
earlier and
pounded
kind of
on
fly
the
through the
outside.
field, they have all stayed out. That include the disadvantaged
I don't
Danson,
think so. I can
which
look.
means that he's in. Nieto's in. There's the number 13 of John Ellenberg. who's
Whoa!
gonna be better than all of them on pit
Hold on,
road,
I'm
and
blaming
John
you. I feel like
Ellenberg
neck
will
goes all to
win
your car,
that
jumps
drag
away.
race off of pit road. So not bad at all for Ellenberg, who is going to be ahead of guys like Danson, like
Hey,
Howard for
Matthew,
the ensuing
what's it like
restart.
to
Just
be
looking on the
in
split
this
of
top
how many
group?
cars are actually going to be staying out in this one.
So,
You got guys
Kaczynski can
Stanford
answer
and
that for
Moore
sure,
trickling
but
down
I'm
pit
gonna
road,
play
but
with,
John Ellenberg at
one
about
foot neck code.
12th.
He held my line, but
And
he
now
still
it's going to
pulled up.
update to 11th position. Will be the lead car on fresh tires. Gary Weaver got a bit of that
Yeah, I think we're gonna
when
have some fun
Durham
up
got
here.
into
We'll
his
phone it.
door. So it looks like he's going to be on pit road a little
Oh,
bit
yeah.
longer to get some damage fixed on that entry. So new tires
till you make
from
it.
11th on back. Your top 10 stay out, and that obviously includes Andrew Friedage, who is fighting for one additional point, right? He's already got a bonus point now for leading a lap. I don't believe Danson has done that yet this evening. And now Friedage wants to lead as many as he can, try to get an additional bonus point for leading the most laps. Funny how 20, 30 laps ago, Friedage was 20 spots behind Danson, and now it's Danson who's going to be the one on the charge through the field, I presume.
Can I just say, as your in-race reporter,
Pit road is closed.
this is a miracle. I'm starting right behind Andrew Friedage on this restart. What is this?
With Hugo Luis on board,
Yes.
with the hood, you're going to be on the outside of row number 2.
We got I got to thank all my sponsors, JK Mannion, my team, Phantom Sim Racing, my team partner Jonathan Burke for nepotism, all of these things.
Don't thank us yet. The green flag hasn't
Stop the count! Stop the count!
Something's going to happen, and Jonathan's just going to call you out and fire you or something on the spot.
He
And
cannot
look at-
fire me. I was the one that came up with the idea. We're partners.
You would think
I
so,
cannot
but
fire him, unfortunately.
Okay, good stop.
this is America. We can take everything
man,
to
we're
court.
going green next time, bye.
Hugo's
All right,
happy
man.
with you.
Line up on
You
the
don't want
outside
him
road
to
now.
feel like that
Keep it
hood
up.
looks like at
Keep
the
it
end
up.
of this
Keep
one.
digging.
So don't disappoint us.
Okay.
From 4th of the restart, top 10 old tires. It's a varying bit of old tires. Everybody but Brian Chambliss is on 22-lap old tires. Chambliss's tires are 42 laps old in the number 8 position. And then, as I mentioned, John Ellenberg, 11th on back, are the drivers on fresh rubber. How about John Ellenberg? He has been spectacular tonight as an underdog in that number 13 machine. Far better than I would ever do in the 13 on a Monday night. Pace car off and in. Friedage on the outside, though, for this restart. So far, everybody shows at the bottom. He wants to be up against the fence. Green flag flies. We're back underway. He'll lead big into turn number 1. Kamer second, Coyle third.
It's going to be a big note for later how well that just worked out for Andrew Freenage, the outside or the inside, because he got a big gap on Kyle Kamer, who's been able to keep pace, I think, with that 88.
Now we watch to see where are the drivers on fresh rubber. See them side by side outside of the top 10. That's basically where it all is. The 43 Kalis is into the ball back in traffic. Just a kiss. He'll be okay. There's a look at the 2 in Nieto. There's some 3 wide with him. That's Morano into the outside wall. It's Deweese on the bottom. They touch. And we will survive 3 and 4.
Got a lot of action back here, but you mentioned John Ellenberg putting together a good race. The man is flying. He's the farthest one up of these guys on new tires.
But everything he can. That was a big wobble by Nieto in 13th position.
Oh,
so
no.
he's not able to get up the Kalis for an additional lap. And John Ellenberg now taking over 7th as he makes the pass on Brian Chambliss. So it's Ellenberg and Howe, the lead cars on fresh tires. That's good enough for 7th and 8th at the moment. I thought Nieto would be a lot better here, but you can see with all the traffic he's dealing with, he's just struggling to find some space. Now side by side with Kalis. It's a battle that he'll win. But of course, Kalis taking that preferred lane away, going to make it just a little bit more difficult. Give Nieto the spot now. He moves up into P12.
Well, it's something that we haven't. I don't think Nieto's been back here much this race, so this is all definitely new territory, which is why we're also seeing some of these guys that aren't, that were towards the front having a bit of issue making up ground. Like, the only one that's been flying through the traffic was the 88 car.
It hasn't been universal, right? I mean, all those other drivers who were on the same tires as Farinaj on that last cycle was in a position where they got spots, but they didn't get spots like he did. I mean, he was far and above, way better in traffic, and it's going to balance out on a spin and a flip. Kalis is into James Ross, who is on his roof in turn number 3, and that's a yellow at lap 67.
Well, the wings will be tossed very nicely covered in sauce, but unfortunately for that 14 machine, it's going to be, I think, days done for that car.
Oh, he's right in the middle of turn 3.
Right-hand side of the quality.
He's just hanging out as he kind of squeezed Kalis into the wall. Let's take a second look at it right here off of the corner. And
nice if the upside down car would tell.
I mean, those are always so tough to tell if it's the car on the outside who kind of gets into the wall and comes
now,
down.
if they go in, I go in.
Bottom gave enough room, but didn't think we'd see
Not
a
going
flip
in.
here tonight. At Lucas Oil Raceway, James Ross is forced to take that toe to pit road. He's short a front end, and he will claim responsibility for the incident. No EOL necessary because that
I'm in
car
third.
is getting serviced
Ridiculous.
on pit road. And another yellow. The point that I was making, though, is, not everyone's going to fly through the field like Farinaj, but they will be better, right? I mean, Ellenberg was about to pass Dominic Howe for 6th until that yellow came out, so he's stuck P7.
Actually, Dominic Howe got around him.
Yeah, he was
Sorry,
trying to pass him back for that spot, and he wasn't able to. Those are the lead cars, right? I think at this same point in the last run, Farinaj had already gotten the lead, right? They're not as good as he is in traffic. But if the next run is 30, 40 laps, they probably get there, right? The question is, at some point, the guys now that are on old tires are going to come back in for their second set, right? And it all kind of balances through. So tough to tell at this point which strategy has
ridiculous.
the benefit at the moment.
I just know I'm going to follow whatever Andrew Farinaj does.
Let the 99 car by.
I think also, like, Farinaj, everyone in front of him had much older tires. These guys were just on about 20 laps, which I don't think is that much, and consider how much of that has been also run under caution.
Right.
So I don't think there had been that big of fall off yet, which is why maybe we haven't seen guys like fly through the field. And even some guys on old tires make up spots. Nick Silver was not up here in the top 5. He's running P4.
Can the race be called official at lap 76, Evan?
You cannot stop the count.
I don't think we can retroactively go back and stop the count, and we also can't recalculate the points and give you a higher number either.
Okay.
But I appreciate the advisement. We'll look into it, but not gonna happen.
Okay.
Shy of halfway in this one. This restart gonna come basically right on the halfway point, which is why I'm surprised that maybe some more cars didn't decide to come down pit road, although albeit to your point, Jonathan, different when it was a 40 lap difference on tires to now when the difference is closer to 20. So maybe Farinaj and them feel like if these guys aren't flying by me on 20 lap newer tires, I'm not going to fly by them if I get 15 lap newer tires. So maybe that's the decision with these drivers hanging on to some of those 3 sets of tires. Also, I don't know how many sets of tires Farinaj has. I'd have to go back and check his first pit stop. He's been down pit road twice. These drivers all have 3 additional sets of tires. I just need to go and confirm if he actually took tires on an early pit stop that he made under the caution flag. And I'm taking a look now, and I don't believe he did. So he should have same amount of tires as everybody else. So it's an important thing to watch as this race gets deeper in.
All right, man. Line up on the
And I think also people don't want to use that second set now with how many cautions we've had so far. They want to put that in the bank for later for a late restart. And I think that's a smart decision by everyone.
This might hurt me here.
Lights off of the pace car. Farinaj once more wants to choose the outside line for the restart. We saw how well that was working for him last time through, whereas everybody else had opted to go to the bottom. Let's see if Kamer can kind of figure something out with it on this one, or if it'll be a big advantage to the 88 once more. Pace car is off and in. Let's see what he wants to fire off, but he outside. Silver behind him. He's ready to go. Gonna be a slow roll in turn 4. Green flag flies. We're back underway. It's a good jump, not a great one, but it's well enough to get him out to the race lead, and Kamer slides up on Silver. He'll defend second.
All clear, all clear.
Silver's not got company. He's got Dominic Howe, who's on the fresh rubber. Dylan pulls in behind him, and now Howe to the bottom. I think the 86 car smells blood in the water. You can see the leader. He knows he has fresher tires. He's trying to use that advantage now.
And looking to the inside now for the 86 lead car with the fresh tires. Silver has the better lane. They're going to be pretty even with the drag race down the back straightaway out of turn number 2. Howe still trying to make the inside work. He's so good in. Here's where the outside's better, though, off the corner. But those fresh tires going to make the difference. And now Dominic Howe, a race high P3.
Say hi.
There's fresh tires.
There's Ellenberg, by the way, that 13. He's trying to catch up to Howe. Ellenberg was at one point the flag bearer for the cars on fresh tires. He's got work to do, and Danson gets into the door of the 79 Coil.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not going to try and fight with the guys on fresh tires.
Just some love from the land down under.
I'm just proud to have been passed by Danson and it not be because I'm going a lap down.
You wanted to be in it with the big boys. There you go. That's Matt Danson, the championship leader, rubbing you up a little bit in battle for position at number 4 at the time. 1 and 2 have checked out quite a little bit. Here's another on-board look through the pack with Matt Mara. I talked about him having started way back in position 23, but he has been great since then. He's up to 11. Could be a driver in contention for tonight's XPM Underdog of the Race Award. The Underdog of the Race Award presented as always by our friends at Extreme Performance Motorsports. Could be a $5 bonus for the driver and a $5 donation to 3 Square Food Bank. Will officially crown the Underdog of the Race post-race here from Lucas Oil Raceway. A lot of drivers, though, have been big ups from where they started, so a lot of good drivers to select from in this one. Here's a duo just a couple of steps behind Matt Mara. It's the one of Joseph Tice to the bottom of Bobby Krug. Krug has been up and down all over the place tonight, but is back to where he started in 13th position, and he wants to hold off Tice.
That car has been through the war so far, but I think everyone at the end is going to have a little bit of damage from this, and Krug is doing okay hanging in there, and I think the fresh rubber really helping him at the moment.
And that spot will go to Tice on the inside, so Leschinski wants to get to him, but now Krug slices down to the bottom. Not sure that's going to work like he wanted it to. He got passed by Tice down low, so he went low, and all that did is open up the outside for Leschinski to stroll on through. And now here's another, Kyle Trudell. So Krug could be down 4 spots in 2 laps.
Yeah, he may be getting a little too optimistic with these fresh tires, and now some of the other guys who are on the same cycle as him are going to be trying to take advantage of him.
He finally finds a spot in line. It'll be behind Trudell, so Krug goes all the way down to 16th position. He is currently fighting with Michael Araya, your 3rd place driver in the championship, and a heavily damaged Daniel Eberhardt, your 4th placed driver in the championship. And there's Krug just driving it off and into the wall. What a fall from grace it's been for Daniel Eberhardt, who had led this race. He's got fresher tires than anybody else, so he is going to be working his way through the field here, but a little bit off cycle. May find that advantage not to be, enough to kind of blow by the 15 cars up the road. It is going to be a long, slow climb as Krug just can't seem to keep that number 51 machine out of the outside wall. There's Lariah, though, that I mentioned. Another very quiet night for him. Again, he has not been an 18th placed car all night. I don't want people to think that. But just with the kind of 2.5, I think, different pit strategies that it works right now, there are a lot of fast cars outside of the top 10.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I think if this run goes out a bit longer, and we're going to see the 2 different cycles kind of play out, and for a guy like Lariah, who's, I think, just really focused on staying out of trouble. He hasn't been passing too much, and he hasn't been really aggressive. Just keeping that car clean as good as, Dominic Howe may have just, hit Kyle came under the wall. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, Howe, we talked about how he was the lead car in all of this. He had gone side by side with Kamer for second, and they touched. So I'm curious if we can get a replay of that. It happened down in 1 and 2 on lap 86 for those cars, and that's why he has fallen behind. And meanwhile, there's Danson making a bit of contact, I think, with Ellenberg as he really tries to muscle his way through the field. So that's why Howe has fallen back from third as he touched Kamer in a battle for second, got loose. He falls all the way down now as Danson clears him to position 6. And again, now all of a sudden, fastest car on the new tires is Ellenberg in P4. So can Dominic Howe turn that back around?
You can tell he's a little bit overzealous and overdriving into these corners. He's getting to the back of Danson, but coming out of the corners is where the 86 struggles. He's falling into the clutches of Sam Yetter, and I think he may have just used up his advantage because now we're having a bit of trouble getting past Nick Silver, who's quietly gotten up into the 3rd position, and Kyle Kamer, who continues to run 2nd. It's been a really good race for Kyle Kamer.
And quiet, right? Minus that bit of contact there with Dominic Howe getting into him. Here's a second look at the contact between those two, and Howe went to the bottom. He pushed Kamer into the outside wall. At this point, it looks like Howe's going to win out, right? But he gets a little bit loose getting back into the throttle, and everybody else rung around him on the outside, and that's how Dominic Howe finds himself in P6. Not a safe P6 at that, because he's kind of being hounded by Sam Nieto from behind. 90 laps down, 60 laps to go from Lucas Oil Raceway. It is still all Andrew Faridas, now by 2.2 seconds over this group.
I think the weird thing is we watched the front of it, and Kyle Kamer, he's running like that mid-line. He's not running close to the wall. Let's get another look at this pass, like how it goes in, just a little bit of a love tap into the wall. Probably something that Kamer's going to remember later on.
Racers never forget, right? I don't know if next week is primed to be a payback one at the Indianapolis Road Course, but Talladega and Las Vegas still to come for the final 2 rounds of this season. Quite a good green flag run, though, here. 20 laps into this dash, and those cars with the fresh rubber have been able to gain spots. They get all the way to 4th. Yeah, that's where Ellenberg is. They've gotten all the way to P4, but just nothing like Faridas did, right? So what a change in the complexion of this race. Danson 5th, Faridas 1st. I still think we're not done with yellows. We're not done with restarts, and it could very well come from this pack, right? Most of the incidents tonight have happened towards the rear, but these guys are going at it. Here's Ellenberg to the inside on Silver.
Caution.
And there it is.
Helps
I'll
out.
show myself out.
Helps out guys on the same strategy as myself and Andrew Faridas, because now we get fresh tires. And obviously the hope is that it goes green from the next time we go through the green flag restart, but let's be honest, it won't.
Take a look. This is the battle. 10th on the back where the yellow flag comes from. That is Tice on the outside in the number 1. That's Eberhard on the bottom. And looked like he may have just gotten hooked by the 03.
Yeah, Lashinsky went to go, I guess, take a sip of Dr. Pepper, and unfortunately the doctor got sent around. No damage, though, on the 1. Just some minor tire inconvenience, if anything.
See if we can see more from high above.
Oh, he got clipped by Eberhard there.
He kind of got pushed up, and I don't know if he bounced off the wall and came down, or was just loose with Eberhard passing. But you know, that's what happens when you get 4 or 5 cars all on top of each other, and pit road is in business. A lot of cars in for service, including race leader Andrew Faridas, who is already back off of the pit lane with service. He's ready to rock and roll. He is the 2nd car off of pit road, only to Brian Chambliss. But Brian Chambliss did not make a pit stop. He drove through pit road, so Faridas should be able to maintain at least the lead off of pit road. But not everybody agreeing on the pit strategy call. Kuczynski and Kalis going to do a redo. They will come down pit road this time after not pitting last time. But Braxton DeWeese first and Tom Morano 2nd. Go to 1st and 2nd. It'll be everybody else 3rd on the back that decides to come in.
Braxton was having a good run. We battled for a bit there, and he actually ended up passing me, getting a bit away, but I'm not sure if it's the right call to not go in for tires, because he was kind of stalling out at the end of that run, and that was a long run compared to the green flag stretch that happened where my cycle was on fresh tires. So I don't know if it's the right move to stay out, but it's all strategy based.
Well, Moreno's back in. Chambliss comes in from missing pit road. So now it is Braxton Deweese versus the world on 40-lap old tires. He is the only driver to stay out.
And look who's behind me.
Oh, yeah, let me just take off.
Do you
my
need me to
gear.
tell you? Daniel Eberhardt.
I had to go look at it. I was expecting you to be fourth, so you let me down that I had to
wait
look
a
all the way
second.
down to position
Okay,
9.
okay, I'm
But
sorry.
yes, Daniel Eberhardt is behind you in 10th, and this washes away that difference, right, with Farinaj and Danson and some of these other guys being on a little bit of varying strategies. We're all even now, except for Braxton. So now we'll really get to see, can Farinaj pull another 2.2 seconds on everybody else? What can Danson do? You made this point earlier, Jonathan, that Danson's been good, but he hasn't been great, right? He's just kind of been floating around there in the top 5. Can he make that next step? Because he has worked so hard week after week to get a point on Farinaj here, a point on Farinaj there. He could lose all of it and then some here tonight.
Good race.
Yeah, but I think we haven't seen really much of Danson like be aggressive.
Well,
or
we
get
have a good
racing. I
ends.
think in these final 50 laps that 05 might get a bit racier, but now I'm also curious. It says the 3 cars stopped twice. I'm wondering if he only has 1 tire set left and he doesn't want to use it.
42, let's go.
Pace car off it in. Restart. Coming up with Deweese on the bottom. Again, Farinaj is going to be forced to the outside, although this time not as the control car. Can the 3 do anything to hold off the rest of the field? Green flag flies. We're back underway, and we're 3 wide for 3rd. It's Danson at the bottom.
Camera's spinning.
Camera sideways in the corner. He'll spin from P4 and a
Woo!
yellow.
Woo! Look at my. Woo!
Dylan was about to ram into poor Kyle Kamer.
Man, you guys really hate
And
my
that's
paint.
just salt in the wound for the 8 machine. He's been running such a good race.
And Kyle Kamer is
can't
really
check up like
upset
that.
right now. Here's the second look. Right. Wait for
How am I
it.
alive after that?
There.
Oh my gosh.
That hit by Tom Moreno
Oh!
late, and then the hit by Steve Durham is why Kamer's not happy, because he was relatively okay up until that.
It's even the 1 car around. So there's a little bit more to
Woo!
this accident that we have to
How did I
unravel
survive that?
here. As there goes the
Tice.
spin. Oh, yeah, he's all by himself. This was a completely separate incident. Oh, we're shaking up the Dr. Pepper a little bit.
Now the question is, which one actually caused the caution flag? Tice was around, I think, almost at the same time as Kyle Kamer, so I'm curious if either of them are going to claim this incident. And when he spun, he got hit by Krug. Yeah, that's the 1 car kind of semi-barrel rolling down the banking here at Lucas Oil Raceway. So that's 2 cars up and over.
This
in
is
this IRAPS 150, and we're gonna take you through the restart on board with Dylan Coyle. Dylan, as we watch it, what'd you see?
Oh, hello. Yeah, so that was scary. I felt like he was chasing me and I never could get free of him. But I thought he would tag me at the very end. I got low enough. Fortunately, I did not get hit, but that was scary. I kept Eberhardt behind me there as well, which is nice, but he is very good on the jumps, on the restarts. Andrew Farinaj is back in the lead. Didn't take long, took 2 corners. But I'm loving the yellows here. It's making the amount of stress I have, it's calming it down.
We're in the final third of this one. I'm assuming you just use your second set of tires. Is there any situation in which it makes sense to get the third, or at this point are we kind of riding with these?
Depends. It truly depends. If we're going green the entire way, obviously I'm not going to go in again. Depends when the yellow is. And while I'm not exactly going to do it, I just realized we're already double file set up at the front. Even though I'm not going to go exactly what Farinaj does, I'm going to really have a hard think about what he does. Because we're on the same strategy. And obviously, he is the man who is the man to beat in this race.
Hey, I bet you that 88 takes the
I would. Daniel Eberhardt saying, "I bet you the 88 takes the outside." But I just hope,
Well, if it takes the inside,
that
you.
I can stay in the top 10 and hopefully, finally, win a month of iRacing for someone.
You know what ain't real? My internet.
Yes, it is still on the table,
Probably not
so
Michael's
we'll
either. I
see
saw
if
him
that
but-
can be accomplished here tonight. You'll
All right,
restart
man, we're
inside
going
of run number 4 and 7th for this one. And at the front of the field, Andrew Farinaj is choosing the bottom. So it may just to spite maybe Daniel Eberhardt, maybe so much confidence in either or that he'll actually go to the inside for this restart. Deweese, by the way, under the last yellow, did decide to come down to the pit road, so we're all even Steven on strategy with a restart with 45 laps to go from Lucas Oil Raceway. Farinaj leads. It'll be Ellenberg, Silver, Danson, and Howe. The top 5 in the running order. Slow again all the way to the exit of 4. Now he's on the power and we're green.
I'm sorry.
Got one outside. Still there.
Bit of contact there. I know that Howe got into the back of Danson, so there's a bit of damage now. You can see on the back of the 05. Silver got sideways. That's why he has fallen back to Howe in a battle for 4th.
It's a good save out of turn 2, but now I think Nick Silver's going to be under fire from everybody because here comes the 86 and the 90 of Eberhardt, who got spun around on that second caution. He's managed to recover to a top 10.
Fighting back even with that right rear damage. You can see a little bit of damage from the car at the cars at the front of this field, but unless it's real bad, doesn't seem to be hurting that much. Nieto as well. There's a spin at a turn 4. I just saw the second after that, and there it is. It's Kyle Trudell.
Can we stop fucking
Just
wrecking?
saw them broke sideways off of 4 and
Sam, I don't
a
like your
yellow at
language.
107.
I love hearing the radio chatter right now.
I wish we could play it.
I know, we can't play that. I'm tired of starting on the inside. I keep losing spots. And actually, I think Lashinsky rear-ended me on the restart there. So I've got some rear damage. Everyone has damage in this one.
I was in the pit.
The upsetting thing for Trudell is that he's the only driver besides Freenaj and Danson to complete every lap on the lead lap this season, and he's going to have to go a lap down, I think, probably for repairs.
No, that was me.
Hit the inside wall after that self-spin at a turn number 4. He does claim responsibility for the incident, so he will get it into the longest line, a penalty regardless.
I know you like Christmas, so I'm showing you a
But
Christmas
drives
tree right
by
now.
the pit road entry that time through, so not going to take it, at least at the moment. Tom Moreno, Lucky Dog, he'll get a lap back. He'll go from 8
I don't
laps
get
down
it. I don't
to 7 laps
understand
down.
what the deal
There are
is.
22
I mean, I have
of the 30
150
drivers who
downloads,
started this
10
race
I
on
don't
the lead
get it.
lap. Only Valderrama, Widemaster, and Miller have had to go to the garage and end their night. So it's been, all things considered, you know, yes, that most recent yellow was caution flag at number 10 on the night. But all things considered,
It's all good, man.
not too
Don't
bad.
sweat it.
We've seen
It
a lot of good
happens.
stuff up front. The strategy's been intriguing. There's big championship
got nothing
points
else
on the
running,
line as Danson
I
has
don't know.
moved up
I
now
don't know what's doing
into
it.
3rd after that last short dash. And
Only 150
close it
down.
in now with 40 laps to go. Could be in store for a great end to this one.
Last I checked, I think I was like 225. I should be
Yeah,
paying
but now
attention.
Danson has to worry about starting on the inside, and I think that's going to be the key.
I will say my
If we get a
internet
final
runs
restart
off
close
of
to the end
my
of this
TV,
race,
everything runs off a
which
lot of
lane do you
time,
restart? And we already heard from our
'cause,
reporter Dylan
that's the way
Coyle.
to do it now.
Starting on the bottom seems very
That might
annoying,
have
especially if
something to
the
do with it.
leader takes the bottom.
Yeah.
That is where I think that bottom line is even worse.
No,
The
no,
leader takes the outside line.
Let me
I think
rephrase
you have a
that.
little more freedom.
Let me rephrase that. If you are on the inside, and the leader takes the inside, you might be good. Depends how good of the jump the guy on the outside gets. I was right in the inside of Eberhardt. Obviously, I wasn't going to get the better jump there. But I will say, if you're on the outside and the leader goes, you're in great shape there. You're in great shape. I'll be on the inside again, but I'll have Garrett Hess on the outside of me. I'm hoping he won't be as quick to the throttle as Daniel Eberhardt is. So yeah, we've got 39 laps to go. We're gonna restart with 37, I believe. That's crazy.
Getting down to crunch time, and if this thing gets, 20 laps, 30 laps of the green flag run, it'll be done before you know it, right? Lap time's
Yeah.
just above 20 seconds, so not a lot of time on the
Outside.
stopwatch left in this
Yeah.
race. Couple of just trying to see what Steve Durham's up to in the tandem machine. He's 2 laps down, and he's going to drop another one behind. Did not beat the pace car off the pit road like he wanted to. Lanes out on top of the pace car, and because Daniel Eberhardt didn't call him out for it, Freenage will go to the outside for this restart. So that'll put Ellenberg to the bottom. Row number 2, Dancing alongside Nick Silver. Row number 3, Dominic Howe alongside Sam Nieto. It'll be Eberhardt, Leszczynski, Coyle, Hess inside of the top 10.
ready.
The 22 cars that are still on the lead lap in this one. Looking for a restart with 37 laps to go. The field in the hands of the 88.
Green flag, green flag.
And no shock, it's a good restart for Freenage. The battle's on for second, though. It's Silver. He'll try to go a long way around John Ellenberg, and he's done it.
Ellenberg has to be careful of dancing.
That was 4th to 2nd by Nick Silver in a lap off of the restart as he takes P2, and Ellenberg, for the moment, holds off Danson for 3rd. Here comes Eberhardt to the top
My
5
God.
of the yellow.
Single file. Pit road is closed.
Can we start throwing people out of here?
It'll be Ross Cato towards the back of the pack, and there may have been a slight touch involved in that spin. Let's look.
We didn't get the single foul the last time we went. Like,
didn't hit the wall,
not
so
even
good save
50
by
feet
Cato,
into
but
the
the
first corner
slight
after the restart
Contact,
went
maybe a little more friendly or competition towards his outside.
Catch the double
Not
O
what
car.
Ross Cato wanted. 5th in the
Hey,
points
Kato, did you have somebody
coming into
underneath
this
you?
race, and
Pit road is
so
now
I mean, it
just
looks
slight.
like they're just alongside each other, but I do think he's the one that goes up a little bit.
That's a hard racing incident out of that corner, especially since these cars have been drifting up towards that wall. Like that's a tough one to call. But did you see in that replay Braxton DeWeese on that fresher rubber just slicing and dicing everyone?
Well, so Brian Chambliss on the outside is going to claim responsibility for the incident, and he'll take the EOL.
That is interesting because I really thought it could go either way on that one. It's just hard to tell at each angle that we got, like who came up and who came down. But thankfully, not a lot of damage on the 12 machine, so hopefully he'll be okay to maybe get a few points. But it has been a rough one for him tonight for sure.
How wonderful.
But an hour
Pole
since the green
position
flag
is.
flew here from the virtual Lucas Oil Raceway and into the closing laps of this IRAPS 150. Good of an opportunity as it to remind you that, as always, Real Sim Racing Winter Series action on RaceSmart TV is brought to you by IRAPS. IRAPS is changing how you find virtual wraps for iRacing. Go to iraps.shop and enter
I've
code
got
RSR
Evan
Winter
and the
20
broadcast
to
in my
receive
ears while
20%
doing this,
off
so
your first
I'm
order.
trying
Through
to
the website,
hear
you
the
can select
talking
a
from here
pre-designed
and the
scheme to
broadcast,
purchase
and it's really
customize by
trippy.
changing the colors, sponsors, and more. Again, that's code RSR Winter 20 at IRAPS.shop. Proud title sponsor of the 2020 Real Sim Racing IRAPS Winter Series, and with the 2021 Cup Series coming up shortly. If you want to get involved as a sponsor or a partner, you can go to realsimracing.org for more information and reach out, be a part of the action here on the Monday nights on RaceSpot TV.
The Dylan R. Coyle Real Sim Racing Cup Series.
Book it. Cut the check. Let's go.
Cut the check. Dylan R. Coyle. Could you imagine?
You can put Hugo's face on the
Oh
logo
my
if you
God.
want to free up some ad space on your hood.
Wow.
I don't think he has enough money to cut that check though at the moment.
I
don't have enough.
I didn't have.
Does the
I
team-
didn't
can
have
the team
enough.
Take out a loan?
Yeah. Can we? We have to be a business. We can write. It's a write-off.
Like the number or
Jonathan, it's a write-off.
Is it in Boston or California?
That's how taxes work.
Are you tracking our team finances here? Is that what we're doing here?
We have so far spent $0 on team finances.
I'm in Georgia.
Okay, well, all right, good. We balanced the
Gotta
books.
be
Good,
from
good
Boston.
job.
Yes.
Bring the car home, please.
0 and 0. oh, I'll try.
yeah, it's a Boston server.
You're doing
I'm in
fun on
Hawaii,
the
so you
outside.
couldn't be that bad.
I am restarting on the outside, and I'm very happy about
You're
that.
down to P10. It's
I
been
know.
slipping.
It has been slipping, but also been
And I
starting
got
on the
no
inside
expectation
and
of
haven't had
spending
much
that
time to
money.
actually make up positions. So we'll see.
What did you say, Andrew? Top of bottom?
I think,
Pace
yeah, I think
car
you see that.
lights
Not a
are
You see that a lot
locked.
with these outside, like outside and inside restarts. You have these comer and goers. Like Nick Silver at one point was 6, 2 RSR later, is now up here in second.
Never say never.
Alright,
Lights
well,
and a pace
you better
car
pay
off.
that
Let's
Dolby
do it
test
again.
first.
And Friedage continues to switch
Oh, I
things
know,
up
we're all
up front.
taking it
He'll
right
go
now.
back down to the inside line for this restart. Going to be 30 laps left to go from Lucas Oil Raceway at Indianapolis. Friedage looking to get back to the championship lead. He leads by 4 car lengths.
Inside. Say hi. Still there? Hold your line.
Oh shit, that's my bad. I didn't mean to tail you.
Say hi.
Here it has
Yep,
tagged
wide.
Sam
Yeah, one
Nieto.
inside.
Nieto's
Thank
into
you,
the
wide.
outside wall,
Yeah, one
into Dylan
inside.
Coyle.
Two wide there.
Nobody
Say
spins
Great.
though. We stay green.
Say hi.
You have the right to be angry.
3 wide, you're in the middle.
Well,
As
thankfully,
he apologizes over the radio, he's the one that got into the
there.
two.
All clear.
Oh, we got a spinner. It's Weaver. Right up to me, almost.
Look out!
All right, man,
Weaver
caution is
around
out.
on the
Caution
back
is out.
straightaway,
Line up, single
yellow,
file.
lap
Your road is
122.
Well, that's good run. Well,
Gary
that's it.
Weaver from 11th.
Well, that really sucks.
Woo, man, it's all the way down to 87. That's a joke.
You claim it. It was on his own, and there's your second look. Trying to compensate, I think, a little bit for the inside. Again, being slower off of the corners, Jonathan, and just gave it too much.
yeah, I mean, he's doing his best audition for Formula Drift, which does come here in real life in 2021 for anyone who's interested. But he's able to, I think, keep the car in one piece, and he just needs a fresh set of rubber. But now it's getting down to that time. We have about 25 laps to go when we restart, maybe 24, 23. Did you come down pit road? Do you wait?
I think you
It's been a
still
little bit of
wait.
yellow fever.
I think you wait for the time being because right now track position is king. I'm frustrated.
I do want to get a replay of that
Daniel,
melee with
for whatever reason, I
involving
can't see
you
right here, but
and
I've
Sam
been
Nieto
meaning,
and Garrett Hess, because it
yo,
looked like there was a lot
fucking-
of other players involved in that as well. You weren't the only one to lose a bunch of spots.
Yeah, I don't know how that wasn't a wreck. I mean, it was a wreck. There just was no spin.
42.
Oh, I
Right.
guess
Driving from
that's-
Nieto and Dylan, looked like they were bumper to bumper coming out of 4, and I think it was just good driving.
Thanks.
You've been blinking a lot.
You're welcome. Remember, no nepotism in this booth. I'm totally not a part of this racing team.
This is
He
true.
knows.
And I'm totally not a broadcaster with Evan.
Now we need. I've said this, and there's the second look. Here's what happened. There's Nieto into the wall. There's Dylan into the back. There's Lariah. There's Moore, and Gary Weaver not that far off. He would then spin at the other
does
half
have
of
a
the
point.
racetrack. So that was the close call there. I did say when you guys rebranded the team that I wanted to see Dylan in some sort of adjusted all-guy
Okay,
or
now you
paint
just
scheme
jinxed
or a
yourself.
Noah Gregson or something, and then we need Jonathan to do his best Dale Jr. impression
No
in the
doubt.
booth.
I
Maybe
promise you,
one day.
you know,
Maybe. Right now, it's Hugo's face.
Unfortunately, I do not have the same like calm Southern style voice that Junior has.
Yeah, you've got the hectic Midwest voice.
I'll just DM him and
What's the
invite him to
refresh rate
come
of
on,
your
and we'll
blink?
just go from there.
I think he'll do it.
But yeah, I mean, he only does the big stuff. And
Right.
Monday nights on Race Spot TV, what's bigger, right? This is the place to be.
Of course.
For this Real Sim Racing IRAP's Winter Series. And of course, into the Cup Series as well. Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope that you have enjoyed this season with us and are enjoying this championship battle. And looking forward to what 2021 is going to bring to not only us here at RSR, but Race Spot TV and everybody else, across the community, as the light should go out this time. And now the question becomes, second and third can switch, third and fourth can switch, blah, blah, blah. Can somebody get Farinaj is the question, right? Because
Daniel,
he did not look great at any point tonight.
I'm frustrated. I want to get up.
Until he took the lead, right? And at first
Bottom.
we were thinking, okay, it's because he has a tire advantage. But they've
Clear
been
air.
evened out now for 30 laps, and he's been cruising. I mean, he's gotten, bigger advantages than anybody else has gotten in clean air. So
Yeah.
he seemingly has locked in and is just trying to outlast several more restarts to get this thing.
It's also him changing up which lane he's restarting in. I noticed like these past few ones he's been changing up, going high, going low. It's almost like a methodical game. He's switching it up always on his competitors where they're going. So it's gonna be interesting if we get a long green flag runner or if another yellow comes out, which lane he takes.
They're going to be way up against the wall, but it is Farinaj on the bottom. Silver on the front row with Ellenberg, Eberhard, and Danson the top five. Green flag in the air. We're back off and away. 23 laps to go from Lucas Oil. Silver gets second. Ellenberg wants it, but Daniel Eberhard, the late race charge, he'll take that spot away.
Ellenberg spun the tires on the bottom and cost Matt Danson and that entire inside line big. Dominic Howard looks like he drifted up a little bit. Oh, no, not again!
Daniel Eberhard sideways and spins.
Again, I almost got involved there.
I'm not going
We
to call
both had the same initial reaction. Not again. He had just driven his way through, and Ellenberg gets him.
This is what we'd refer to, Evan, as a gong show.
Oh, and a huge hit from the 19 at the end there. That's not going to do him or Eric Stanford any good.
Have I been in every replay of a wreck?
Pretty close.
Yeah. God. Oh, Daniel just disconnected. He's done.
Well, John Ellenberg and him exchanged some words over the radio. Daniel was not happy, of course. He had won the last two races. Maybe if he could have won this race or gotten a good finish, a late or kind of long shot to get back into the championship picture, and especially for the up and down night that he had tonight, right? Being up front, being in an incident, driving all the way back through to get turned again, I think was enough for him. And once he wrecked out, he knew that the chance for the race win was gone. Probably the chance to get into the championship was gone as well. So Daniel Eberhard's going to park it. His night done. And that takes, I think, a big threat away from Farinaj. I'm sure he's breathing a little bit easier now.
The thing that's frustrating as a mid-pack person at the moment is because of the nature of the restart at this track, everyone is so bunched up. And, I mean, you know, a lot of tracks will go to the outside and we'll try to make sure no one can pass on the outside on the restart. It's almost like Darlington, but a tighter version of Darlington on restarts, where the outside is the best line to go, but you're boxed in and there's nowhere else, you know, you can get out of there. So what do? You just try to race your race, but there's a bunch of other people doing the same exact thing around you and they're boxed in as well. Then one guy wants to take a 3 wide, they might make it work. More often than not, though, they might have some contact or they spook somebody else, specifically the one in the middle, and all hell breaks loose. So we'll see here. It's just it's been hard to get into a rhythm all night. We've had, I believe, 2 longish green flag runs, and they were where I felt the best. I felt like I was doing well saving tires, and I'm sure somebody like Daniel Eberhard, who, you know, is the biggest tire saver, would have been much happier if this race was green for most of it. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's the case.
And I think with Eberhard gone, I don't know if anybody can get to Farinaj, right? I mean, not to take away from Silver, Ellenberg, Danson, you know, those guys have been up front, and for some of them, leading laps at points in this race. But Farinaj gets that 4-car length advantage, and they can't get that back. And the only person that was kind of making the moves forwards in these top 5 or top 10 was Eberhard. It doesn't mean he was going to get all the way to Farinaj, but at least he was making moves on some of these other drivers. So I'm going to need to see something more out of this out of the rest of the field here if they're going to get up and put up a real fight against that 88. For the 3rd restart in a row, he'll opt to go to the inside. This time the restart comes with only 17 laps left to go from Lucas Oil. Silver tried to guess, he missed it. Farinaj is gone.
Got one inside.
Probably the best restart, though, from someone in that outside line contact behind.
Are you kidding me?
It's a big wreck of several cars into the wall.
Unbelievable, and there's no yellow.
I thought I saw some orange to black. That was Dylan who got tagged by Kaczynski.
Come on.
No caution. We stay green.
Come on, guys.
Just a second, look at the touch.
I'm actually furious right now.
He's officially been indoctrinated into short track racing. Such a good run gone. We've seen so many drivers have top 5, top 10 stolen away from incidents and not even a yellow to check things up and kind of regain recompose as your top 6 and 7 now single file. There's a pass as Braxton DeWeese gets around Matt Mara for 7th and 8th position. And now the question is, can Nick Silver get to Farinage? It's 4/10 of a second and growing.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of just being patient and essentially waiting. There still is that threat of another caution. The midfield is still crazy, even though we've lost a couple contenders. There's still action back there. The 03 doesn't have a front bumper and is still running in 5th place.
He doesn't care. He's been working hard.
Unbelievable.
I remember the big incident with Leschinski, and no front end on that race car, but he's staying in it. Ahead of a bit of side-by-side. Look out. Wow, Deweese drove it in deep into turn 3. I thought certainly he was going to get into Leschinski. He doesn't. The 03 clears, and now it's a battle between Deweese and Howe. Howe really struggles into the corner up there, and it'll give Deweese the spot. Does he tuck and line, or does he stay on the bottom of the 03? Looks like he'll be forced to fight on the bottom.
Now, you can't give an inch. You really can't give much of these drivers much room out there. It's just going to be a matter of just trying to hold your position as much as possible. This 03, without a front end, with as much damage as he has, is doing his best, but at some point, these drivers are going to get frustrated with him.
I'm really frustrated.
He's trying to get through to the bottom, close, but not enough to pull a slide job on him. And if you don't get the 03, you don't get anything here because they are stacked up behind. Again, with Howe and company, that's going to help, though. Howe gets into the back of Leschinski. He slides 3-1 in turn 2. Leschinski loses 4 spots. Howe goes up through the middle, and Deweese
I can't believe that
wins
happened.
P5.
I can't.
Excellent driving by Leschinski. Looks like, he took a little bit of lessons from dirt tracking right there, able to get it through the corner, but now he's going to drop like a rock. Here comes Lariah, here comes Neto, and here comes Mara. There's not much he can do. Maybe hold on for a top 10. We have less than 10 to go.
In the home stretch, here from Lucas Oil, the advantage for the race lead continues to widen now to 7/10 of a second. Watching Leschinski fight for everything he's got. It's Lariah, though, passing him on the inside.
Love getting spun.
He will fall to 10th, and it's not done yet because here comes Nieto.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys have had up and down races, have been in collisions. They're just trying to get a good finish. And Nieto's broken into the top 10. He was leading early and just really
so mad right
back
now.
up through the field.
How
Look
was
at
there,
all the cars there on that shot, Nick Mara included, who's going to be the next one down to the inside, who don't have a front end on their cars. And I think the other one back there is Bobby Krug. So there's a lot of drivers who have been through the ringer in this race. Not by any stretch of the imagination the longest race that we've seen here in the Winter Series. Not even this season time-wise, but I'm sure it's felt like a marathon. That's Cato into the wall behind these guys. Just kissed it, no issues. We're still green, but certainly a wild and rough night under the Indianapolis lights that a lot of drivers happen to forget as we go to the big track down the road at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway next week. That's Lariah sideways with a lot of smoke. He's down and in the grass, but he saves that car. That's going to hurt. He'll go from 9th to 14th.
And I think if you're Andrew Freenhouse, you're just hoping someone keeps it straight. But even those as good as Michael Lariah are struggling right now. They're all racing ridiculously hard for these minor positions.
And he'll stop the bleeding there because behind him, Krug and Cato, Chambliss as well, I should say, still too busy fighting with themselves as Bobby Krug's probably hit the outside wall more than anybody else in this race. Up front for Farinage, 4 laps to go, desperately wanting to see the white flag for this race to be official.
Nick Silver should not look in his mirror because there is the 05 Horizon machine of Matt Danson who's still there. He's been really, really quiet. He might go for a last-second charge for second here.
Can he challenge? Danson needs a big additional point at the moment. I think we're looking at least about an 8-point spread between Farinage and Danson. That would give Andrew Farinage the points lead for the first time in several weeks. Headed out of this one to that Indy Road Course race for round number 8 of 10 on the season. So after weeks and weeks of small steps forwards and backwards and little increments, going to be a big swing for Ferdinand. 2 laps to go.
Danson doing his best though to mitigate. He's trying to chase down Nick Silver, but Silver's been really, really good so far on these longer runs.
Just too far to even want to put the bumper to him if you could. White flag in the air, final time around for Ferdinand. Slow start to the season. A race win in Richmond. He was on top of the world. But a race wins by Danson and Eberhardt put him on the back foot. Questions about consistency coming into this race. And in the second half, he put it to him. Final time at 4 for Andrew Ferdinand, who wins at Lucas Oil Raceway.
Good win, Andrew. Good race in that.
Great. Good one, Andrew.
And the first two to congratulate him over the radio, Nick Silver and Matt Danson. This championship gets that much more exciting with 3 weeks left. Ferdinand, now a 2-time winner in this winter series.
Looks like we had a little bit of an issue on that last lap. Nick Marr has dropped from the timing score. He was right on the edge of the top 10, and all of a sudden he's down to 20th.
Dale, I apologize for getting you into there. I got real loose. I apologize.
And there's a discussion on the radio now, so something happened in turn 4 on the last lap of this race, which involved Nick Marr crashing into the inside wall, losing 10 spots, but the fireworks fly high above, and that's something that Ferdinand has been wanting to do for a couple of weeks.
In actuality, I was coming to maybe hit your car, but I appreciate that.
Not to overblow his off weeks, right? I mean, he finishes 3rd, he finishes 4th. We call it an off week, so he hasn't been way off, but I know that this one feels real good. Take it back into victory lane. Let's take a look at your IRAP's full race results. By the end of it all, it was nearly a second back to Nick Silver P2 and Matt Danson 3rd. We'll talk with all of them in just a minute. John Ellenberg finishes 4th, and Braxton DeWeese is P5 with Dominic Howe, Sam Nieto, Matthew Mara, Garrett Hess, and Kyle Trudell, the top 10.
Michael Araya recovers from that late spin to get 11th. Brian Shameless was involved in many of those early cautions. Still comes from 12th. Lashinsky in the 03 almost got tagged by the 86, comes from 13th. Ross Cato had a rough one in P14. Truncalis in P15. Michael Kaczynski in the 30 car comes home in 16th. Gary Weaver, we saw him spin out once or twice in 17th. Bobby Crew coming home, damage all over that 51 in 18th. Dylan Coyle we saw get tagged by Michael Lashinsky. Was on pace for a top 10, unfortunately, in 19th. And Nick Mara, unknown what happened on the last lap, but he ended up in the inside wall in 20th.
Continue on through. You've got the rest of these drivers off of the lead lap, but are pretty much out of it. That's Tom Morano, Daniel Eberhardt, Eric Stanford, Steve Durham, and
I'm going to go.
Gamer, along with Joseph Tice, James Ross.